Let's take a look at glaciers. What exactly are glaciers? Glaciers are simply bodies of ice that form from repeated periods of snowfall. Once they form, they are pulled very slowly downhill by gravity. There are generally two types of glaciers. First, we have alpine glaciers, which form high up in the mountains and travel downhill like rivers of ice. Then we have continental glaciers. These are massive glaciers that cover entire land masses, and they tend to move outwards from the center, often towards the coastline. Let's see what these look like. Here's an alpine glacier, and you can see it looks just like a river of ice. All of these flowing slowly downhill, carving out the rock as they go. A great example of a continental glacier would be Antarctica. It's this huge, thick sheet of ice that covers virtually the entire landmass. We see a similar thing in Greenland. Up close, you can see these huge sheets of ice ooze out from the center towards the coastline, slowly grinding away the rock beneath. When either type of glacier, whether it be alpine or continental, when they reach the ocean, large chunks of the ice tend to break off, and this is a process that's known as calving, and you can see it happening here. As climate change continues and the atmosphere and oceans are warmed, calving is happening at a faster rate. These big chunks that fall off of the glaciers then float out into the sea, becoming icebergs. The most important thing to look at with glaciers is how they impact the landscape. That is, how do they change the land as they grind over the surface over millions of years? First and foremost, we should know that glaciers grind down the rock that's on both sides and on the bottom of the area where they're moving, and the result is this large U-shaped valley, which you can see here in the diagram. Notice it's shaped like the letter U. Here's what it looks like in reality. We can infer that this valley was formed by glaciation at some point in the past, and that inference is based on the general shape of the valley. Here's another U-shaped valley. As glaciers grind over the bedrock, they scratch it. They leave behind marks and grooves that are called striations. And these striations are important because they reveal the direction that the ice was moving before it melted. You can see them plucking and grinding away at the rock beneath, resulting in something like this. And by looking at those striations, we can draw an inference about what direction the ice was moving. And we see them here as well. When a glacier melts, it's going to deposit or drop off all of the sediment, all of the pieces of rock and sand and silt and clay that it was carrying with it. And when it does so, it just kind of drops it off, and so we end up with these big piles of this unsorted and unlayered sediment. And we have a term for these sediments, and that's called glacial till. Here you can see big, small, all mixed together. And this is what it looks like in reality. And this serves as further evidence that there was once a glacier in this area.